Hey guys, welcome back to episode 6 of the What to Deuce podcast. It's me and Umar today. Hashim's kind of busy right now. I don't know what's going on with him, so he's not going to be with us today. But in his place, we have my good friend, Colleen. What's up, girl? How you doing?
Hello, I'm good. I'm happy to be here.
That's good, man. Umar, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing alright. I'm just chilling.
You must be feeling really free right now. I don't know if you know this, Colleen. Umar literally finished his last final like an hour ago. Like, he just recently became free. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, I feel like I'm so late between everybody else because everybody else finished their finals earlier this week or last week.
Hey, man, it's okay. Like, being a free man's being a free man. Now you can finally relax for like 5 days until your summer classes start.
Yeah,
so
until my summer courses start. Right?
Colleen, how does it feel? Like, this man's summer classes start in like 5 days. He gets 5 days of summer vacation, and then it's back on that grind.
Hey, enjoy your 5 days. You've got 5 days to do nothing.
Yeah.
It's better than no days to do nothing.
Speaking of nothing, Colleen, how have you been like handling this whole experience? I guess I don't know. I kind of got tired of like asking people how they're doing because like most people have been saying like kind of the same thing. But like, go ahead. What have you been doing for the past like 2 months? I guess.
What have I been doing for 2 months? Well, I've been doing a lot of cleaning of my childhood bedroom.
Okay.
I've been doing a lot of baking. I was doing homework, but since that's over, I guess I've been watching a lot of Avatar, and that's about it.
Avatar, I think, has been like the number one thing that most people have been doing nowadays. It's like the new Tiger King. Like I see that like Netflix is like putting Avatar everywhere now, and like a show that I grew up on is now like the most talked about thing for some reason. Like I've seen so many memes about it and all that. Like people seem to be back on the Avatar train, and I that's amazing to me. Like I love it so much.
I'm not gonna lie to you or something. I feel like I traveled back in time because I'm starting to see all these memes. Like 11-year-old show that came out in 2009. I'm starting to see again everywhere, and I don't know how to feel about it.
Like I knew
Like,
that I knew the resurgent was back was when Colleen in our group chat posted a freaking cabbages meme. And I was like, I just got the biggest flashback.
Oh
to my
my
mind.
god.
My cabbages. Yeah.
I love the Cabbages man. I love him so much. He's arguably my favorite character.
Oh wow!
Really,
Appa
my
has some
favorite character is
whisper.
Iroh. It has to be Iroh.
Yeah.
My favorite character.
I mean, Appa's my true favorite character. Cabbages is
Appa.
a close second.
Let's do a poll. Would you guys rather have an uncle like Iroh, or would you guys rather have a pet like Appa?
Oh, pet like Appa. Are you kidding me? Okay, I bet
Oh my god. I saw a tweet about how somebody was petitioning, what's the Build-A-Bear? Somebody was petitioning Build-A-Bear to like make an Appa Build-A-Bear.
Make sky bisons.
Yeah, I literally make like stuffed sky bisons, and I would pay. I'm ashamed of the amount of money I would pay for a very large stuffed sky bison.
I'm not ashamed, Colleen. I would definitely buy that right away.
No,
I want one so bad.
But you know what's crazy about this? Because I remember like 15 years ago when the show was airing, I remember like there was talks for an Appa Build-A-Bear. Like I remember there was advertisements for a Build-A-Bear of Appa and Momo. Like I remember it like firmly in my mind. It's just crazy that this like big nostalgic resurgence is happening.
Yeah, it's always Avatar's always been like present in the culture in terms of like people our age. Like a lot of people grew up watching it, so like a lot of people like just know of it and like would reference it on occasion. But yeah, like the influx of memes on like Twitter and just the general internet has been insane. Which is fine by me because I've been watching it and I love it.
Like,
do you guys think if we weren't in quarantine that people would like be hyped about this show? Because I feel like everybody's just bored and like this is like the only interesting thing that's going on in their lives right now.
I mean, you say that, Omar, but I remember firmly when Avatar was taken off Netflix the first time, people were really pissed off. I remember like it was in high school and people were really upset that they couldn't watch Avatar The Last Airbender anymore. And I mean, hey, it's back on there, which is nice. But I think to Colleen's point, and this is kind of an interesting topic, do you think anyone younger than us is currently watching the show, or do you think it's just our generation?
I think it's just our I think it was the people who were kids when the show was coming out because it's the nostalgia factor more than it's the like, it's a really good show, which is why I'm enjoying it, watching it for the first time now, 15 years after everyone else. But like for most people, I think it's the nostalgia factor, which is why it's like one becoming like a huge cultural thing again, and also like I don't think anybody younger than us is watching it.
I don't know. I feel like it has like a good appeal to younger kids too. Like it's very playful, it's very artistic. It has a lot of background information, a lot of interesting characters too, like a bunch of animals. I remember as a kid, that's what I liked the most, like the interesting hybrid of animals.
Yeah.
No,
go ahead.
I don't disagree, but I think that like most of the people watching it on Netflix right now are probably our generation, not like kids and parents.
No, I could definitely see that. Yeah, most people who found out it was going to be on immediately just clicked on it.
I think it's interesting because like my sisters which I don't know if they're the best metric since they're like girls and like they're like a bit. I don't know, I think they're a bit past like that type of stuff. I think they don't think like cartoons are cool anymore. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Their favorite show is Victorious, which is definitely past their time. And I didn't show them that. They just found it on their own. So I think it's interesting that like even shows from our past are still somewhat relevant with like people younger than us. I just wonder like what caused that, I guess.
Maybe it's the difference between like the shows that were on when we were kids are now like really easily accessible for like reruns and like streaming platforms, whereas like the shows that were on like 15 years before we were kids, like I don't know what those shows are because like if they don't really exist anymore because there was no like way to stream them.
Like we had like in like our second episode we were talking about the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody and how like a ton of jokes in that show just would not fly nowadays. Do you think like that has anything to do with anything? Like maybe like the early 2000s humor just doesn't translate anymore, but like 2010 humor is still kind of in tune with what's going on nowadays, so maybe that's why it's stuck around so long.
Yeah, people can relate to it better too.
Okay, what else has been going on? Omar, it's been like 2 weeks since you and I recorded. Last week was a bit hectic for me and you, I guess, with like finals and things like that. So we got a lot to catch up on. The number one thing, though, I think that you wanted to talk about was this whole H3H3 thing. Do you want to
Yeah,
give
H3 versus Keemstar.
Do you want to give the listeners a big big summary of what's going on? Kali, I don't know if you know anything about this.
I know nothing. Please also give me a big summary of what's going on.
Yeah, no problem. So basically, out of nowhere, H3H3, a podcaster, just posted a big rant video about a YouTuber slash podcaster named Keemstar, right? And he was just listing the shit he did for the past 3 years, everything he did, whether it be accusing an old streamer, a 60-year-old man, of rape and like kind of fucking up his life, to agitating Etika, another YouTuber's bipolar disorder, where he would go on manics, right?
Manic episodes.
And he would, yes, manic episodes, and he would just amplify them, get him even more excited and more just hectic. All this was bundled up in like a 45-minute video, right? And it started a lot of YouTube drama only because he got rid of his sponsor, one of his well-paying sponsors. So he kind of cost him some of his income, which he wasn't very happy about. And then they're going back and forth with videos now. He posted a video about him, exposing him, and then H3 posted another video. I think it was yesterday or today. So this goes back and forth, honestly. I don't know when it's going to stop.
The reason this is like such a big deal, at least in YouTube, and kind of why it's interesting for like me and Omar now is because like we've recently entered this space, like with this podcast and things like that. Kali, I don't know if I told you this, but like we recently got reached out to this big company in Switzerland who's going to be like paying us for ad breaks in the podcast. So we kind of like got recently into this whole sponsorship game type thing, you know? Like we realized how important it is to have people who are interested in your work. So the fact that this one big YouTuber was calling out another YouTuber for like actions that he has done and why those sponsors should no longer be sponsoring him. It's kind of like a really dirty play and kind of like sets like a really bad precedent where like if someone doesn't like you, they could directly go to your income and that could directly like ruin a lot of people's livelihoods who are like doing this either full time. I mean, we're just doing this for hobbies, but like we're talking about people who are doing it full time and they could be seeing like serious like issues in the future if this actually does happen, you know?
So did the guy, I forget their names already, but like did this one guy calling out Kingstar, like did that actually did cost Kingstar like sponsorships?
Yeah.
Like he lost money because of it?
So Keemstar's biggest sponsor, it's like G Fuel. It's like this like sports drink type supplement type thing, right? They completely dropped him. So like he completely lost that entire chunk of that sponsorship money. But likewise, Keemstar reached out to some of H3H3's podcast sponsors, and Old Spice dropped H3H3. So now it's like this big battle of like companies dropping out of YouTube and like crippling people's financial stability, I guess.
Yeah, and it's really awkward how they're getting rid of their sponsors too. Like they're literally just using their fan base to go on Twitter and just spam the hell out of like G Fuel or Old Spice. Old Spice was H3H3's sponsor. It's really scary to me because like these guys are like popular and wealthy, and they just the sponsors just drop them instantly. Imagine if like some small time person just got called out. Can you imagine how much money they would lose from their sponsors? But just one sponsor or something.
Yeah, but I mean, like, from what you guys, again, I only know what you guys just have been talking about, but like, it sounds like these people were getting called, or this guy was getting called out for like some pretty serious shit, doesn't that kind of like, if he actually did the things he was accused of, then like he's arguably a really bad person, in which case like doesn't he deserve to like have some punishment for that?
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. I agree with what you're saying, but that's not the issue. We like, I think it's like well known that Keemstar is kind of like a really shitty person on YouTube. I think that's like a well known thing. The only issue is like the precedent it sets is like if you're able to set your fan base on a person who you don't like's like livelihood, should that be allowed on a platform that like, you know, relies on people making that as their primary income, you know? Like, okay, so like, here's another example. There's a very popular female streamer named Pokemon, right? She does like a lot of video game stuff, and she has like a bunch of like thousands and thousands of people donating to her all the time, and she's like has like tons of deals with sponsors. She's a multimillionaire, just so you know. Recently, there was like a YouTube video, a guy on YouTube who posted a video about Pokemon, basically saying how it's kind of messed up that she's getting all these dudes to like donate money to her, and like how some of these dudes end up not paying their rent because they're just giving all their money to her, and how she's kind of like perpetuating that by like encouraging it. And with that, Pokemon basically called that smaller YouTuber's sponsors directly and told them to drop him, and he like missed out on a bunch of opportunities because of that, and he had no way of firing back because he's like a much smaller entity than compared to the big monolith, you know?
Yeah, she was going for a big sponsor of his, but ended up picking a smaller one. I don't remember which one it was, but he was really upset about it. He made this whole rant video about her, but it didn't really catch on to anybody, sadly.
But yeah, no, like I said, like the only reason like we're really interested in this is just because like we recently got into this game, as you could say, and it's just interesting that all this is happening now.
Yeah,
that's weird timing. All right, which you guys like? Have you guys done something I should be worried about? Like, are you about to get called out by some other?
I don't know. Who knows? Maybe somebody's gonna get really pissed off from this podcast and just start like taking away our one donor.
You think the Weeknd's ever gonna listen to this podcast and call us out?
Oh my god.
Colleen, in our first episode, we went on like this massive rant.
He just DMs us like, how'd you guys know?
How'd you guys know? yeah. In the first episode, we go on like this massive rant about how like every single Weeknd song is about cocaine, because like, you know, like I can't feel my face with that when I'm with you. It's like definitely about cocaine, right? Like it's absolutely And then
obviously.
His new song "Blinded by the Lights." It's just like
that is such a good song, but then it was completely ruined for me by those dumbass TikToks, and I'm really mad about it.
Ah, that's good. I've yet to watch the TikTok, so I still enjoy the song thoroughly.
Yeah, I was about to say something. We're not.
So
I'm lucky we're not on TikTok. It just ruined it for me.
I'm not even on TikTok. I just see them on Twitter and Instagram, and it's ruined. But it's fine. That's besides the point. Is it about coke?
I mean, yeah, I think it's like there was like I forgot what we said, but it was just like the lyric was like this city's cold and empty, no one's around to judge me, I can't see clearly when you're gone, you know, stuff like that, you know, like okay, so like our co-host was arguing that was about a girl, and like I was saying like, nah, bruh, it's about cocaine, come on. All right, look. Either way, it was just like a fun thing. It was like the first episode. Either way.
So he's coming after you.
Yeah, absolutely. He's probably going to get us canceled for sure.
Well, you had a good run while it lasted. Honestly, getting canceled by The Weeknd is like kind of an accomplishment. You know, like you got noticed by.
Yeah, we got him to notice us our song. That's pretty good publicity right there.
Yeah, your podcast.
I would take
your podcast to the level where The Weeknd is noticing you guys talking shit about him. That's an accomplishment.
Yeah, okay, Colleen, do you think you could at The Weeknd for us? Do you think we could when we're actually, you know, when we're trying to get The Weeknd on here, bro, try to get him on here, man. I think it's time we have a one-on-one about this.
Whether or not his songs are actually about cocaine.
It'll be an exclusive, you know? So like you know, like me and Omer, we've been going through Ramadan for the past couple months, so we're actually not allowed to listen to music. Have you been listening to anything in the past month? Is like you have like a quarantine playlist that you've been helping you get through the monotony, I guess?
You know what's funny is I mostly listen to music when I'm at school, because I listen to it like walking across campus and like driving places and stuff. So I don't think I've been listening to as much music lately as I have been, or as I do normally. But I say, as I'm going through my Spotify really fast to see if there's anything interesting, I do have the new Weeknd album favorite. What have I don't know. I've been listening to a lot of Saint Motel recently,
Oh yeah.
but I don't know if you guys would know their songs. I have a very obscure music taste.
No,
Let's
it's
hear it. I
fine.
want to hear it.
Omer, no,
No
hold up.
judgment. No judgment.
We're gonna get
What's up?
copyright claimed, bro. It's chill.
I don't want to do that.
I mean,
you
if
guys.
Colleen,
You
if you're
say
willing
that, but
to,
you just sung the whole Weekend song or song.
I was gonna say, like, if Colleen, if you're willing to sing some of the songs, then I mean, I think that's fine.
God, no, absolutely not. Sorry.
Did you pick up any new or old hobbies during quarantine?
I really wish I could say that I did, because that would make me feel as though I've spent the past 2 months doing anything productive remotely.
Oh, don't say that.
I've honed my cross stitch skills.
There you go. That's something.
Wait,
Yeah,
your
you
what?
know, that's
Your what skills?
cross stitching.
Cross stitching. Oh, cross stitching. Okay.
Yeah.
I heard like cross hitching at first. I was like, what's cross stitching? Okay. All right, that's cool.
Yeah, you know, I've been close to the breaking point of beginning to make sourdough bread like everyone else on Twitter, but I haven't gotten there yet, which I'm kind of proud of.
It's very difficult. I always mess up at like getting my bread to rise at a certain level.
Yeah, something about the proving is just like very, very finicky. I don't have the patience for that shit.
I have been recently learning how to cook a lot of seafood. I've currently worked my way from salmon to tilapia fish. I might give
Very nice.
sushi a try after a conversation about sushi earlier today.
Very nice.
You were making sushi or something?
Well, no.
Yeah, wait. I would never sushi myself.
You would never make sushi? You would never eat sushi? Shit.
I would eat it. I wouldn't trust myself to make it.
Yeah. Is it really just raw fish? Like they don't cook it out?
Raw fish.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me, bro. Oh my god.
Seaweed wrap and rice and all this other stuff.
Why is it so good? I don't know.
I know. No, I did make really good tofu a few nights ago.
Ooh.
Which I was really proud of because tofu is like, disgusting. But when you get it really crispy because you fry it and you put it in teriyaki sauce with a bunch of stir-fried veggies, that's good.
That sounds bomb. Oh my god. I've mostly been doing piano in my free time, but like I guess not for the past month. I might get back on that once Ramadan's over, but like I don't know. After you take a month off, you kind of like lose the muscle memory. It's kind of hard to get back on that.
You gotta get back on it. I want to get back on guitar, but Arsan, looks like we have some news. It seems like Eid is tomorrow.
Wait, hold on. Are you serious? No, stop.
Yeah,
Eid is supposed to be. Eid is tomorrow.
Or technically today on Saturday. Yeah.
Wait, no. You there's no roses today?
Technically no. Saturday, May 23rd is Eve.
Yo, that's crazy. That's actually crazy. That's actually breaking news. Holy crap. Okay, so Colin.
Yeah. So get ready for a Zoom call and a prayer.
Wait, Omar, explain this to her so she doesn't think we're crazy. Go ahead. Oh my god, it's crazy. Dude.
Okay, so at the end of Ramadan, right, the 9th month of the in the Islamic calendar, there's a holiday called Eid where we make Eid prayers, right? It's like a big cultural festivity thing. We all get together at the mosque and we all pray together and we all celebrate good food, presents, all that kind of stuff. Well, not really presents, but we give each other some things. This is the first time in our entire lives where we have not gone to the mosque. So I have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow, honestly.
That's crazy, but weren't you just complaining like an hour ago that Eid's not tomorrow? That's wild, dude.
Yeah, I was because I wanted it to happen tomorrow.
Wait, so
Sunday. I wanted it to happen on Saturday, which is now happening. But I was complaining it was going to happen on Sunday.
Colleen, the reason why we're so surprised and the reason we didn't see this coming is because the way that we know that Eid's happening is we look at the moon. It's all about the moon sightings. So it could either be between like today or tomorrow or Sunday or Monday. It could be between like any certain amount of time frame. And the fact that it's tomorrow is so freaking shocking to me. Like, oh my god, it's awesome. I could eat now. I can finally eat.
How do you not know? How is it tomorrow and you're just now figuring out like the moon is going to be whatever it's going to be?
Well, so we base it off of whatever Saudi Arabia says. So it's usually just like they give us the okay, and then yeah, we're good. I wonder if my parents know. I don't even think my parents know right now. That's insane.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody told them. I'm sure. Arsan, this is like a really interesting trend on YouTube right now. I don't know if you know this, but there's like non-Muslim people who are practicing fasting during Ramadan. I thought that was the most interesting thing.
I mean, don't fitness people do that all the time? Like, isn't that what intermittent fasting is?
No, not like dietary fasting. They're practicing like the religion of fasting for Islam.
Oh,
Like they're actually getting up during Sari time. They're eating. They're not drinking any food or water. Sunrise to sunset. They're not drinking or eating any food.
that's
Why?
They're just practicing fasting in Islam.
well,
I guess they just want to experience it.
to be fair, like when I was a freshman in college, I got my roommate to do like a day of fasting. He was struggling, bro. Like that man he really could not do it. But you know,
Really?
he persevered. Like he did it for one day. It was like in the beginning too. So like
Well, good for him. Good for him.
yeah. But
What
then
was he complaining about? Was he just thirsty? Was he just hungry? Like what?
it was like everything. He was just like really frustrated. Like, dude, he was upset today that he was hungry. I was just like trying to like in my mind telling like, dude, remember that one time you just like fasted the whole day? Like he literally as soon as it was over, he was just like, never again, just never again.
That's on brand for him.
Colleen, have you ever tried fasting before?
No.
You should give it a shot. I promise you're gonna love it.
Oh my god,
Will I? I'm not sure. I'm not so sure about that one.
you can't drink water? What? Yeah, no, it's
Wait, can you
interesting.
not drink water? Then
Nah,
I would like literally die if I couldn't drink water. Like I get headaches.
Well, maybe you can do like a slow process, right? Like maybe like the first 3 days or 2 days, you can just like drink a little bit of water, and then you can try the full fast, like no water, no food.
I'll have to work my way up to that, but I'm open to it in theory.
I mean, hey, Ramadan's a whole year away, so you got a whole year to prepare. So
Excellent. I'll start doing intermittent fasting with a latte and just sort of work my way up.
the tech with it is basically you just sleep until 4 p.m. That way you only have to stay up for 2 hours.
That's true. That is honestly the tech. It's so much easier this year because we're up all night.
Yeah.
Like we literally just sleep through the entire day, not feeling hungry at all until like half an hour or an hour before we actually have to eat.
We might have to like switch up the podcast recording time once we go back to our normal schedule, Omer.
Yeah, honestly. You know what's funny? This is the first time we're talking about Ramadan, even though we started this podcast on like the first week of Ramadan.
Yeah. We started this podcast on the first week of Ramadan, and I always cut out any part where we talk about Ramadan just because, like,
Why? I don't understand.
it's always just us
I guess 'cause we
complaining.
Is it really? Oh shit.
It's really just us complaining. I'm just like, this is boring. I'm gonna cut this out.
Well, good job, Arslan. Good job at editing that out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
Collie, just forget about that. Just forget you heard us about complaining, okay?
And think it's only a wonderful experience.
absolutely, it's cleansing. You feel very spiritual after it.
I'm sure.
Or like really stuffed and fat. I don't know.
You guys are very excited that it's ending, so that's a good sign.
Don't call me out like that, Colleen. Be quiet.
Hey, you invited me on this podcast.
Speaking of that, so Colleen, your major is you're very much in the public policy field, right?
It is indeed.
So, what is your current thoughts on the current public policy of the 2020 election candidates?
Oh,
That was such a
God.
vague question. Oh my god, I'm sorry I put you on the spot like that. I was trying to find a really, I was trying to find like a
Let's
really,
cut that out. We'll start over. Don't worry.
I was trying to find like a really smooth way of going into that. I just, I don't know. Okay, what,
That was definitely smooth.
what's like, what are your thoughts on the whole situation right now? Like, I mean, I'm guessing based on your conversation, are you gonna go blue no matter what, or like, are you on the fence, or?
Haven't entirely decided, but every day I get further and further from voting for Joe Biden.
Yeah.
So I'll probably write in Bernie Sanders, and my conscience will feel clean come November. But Maryland's going to go blue no matter what, so it's not like I live in a swing state or something. That's probably different, but at the same time, like, I really don't want to vote for Joe Biden. Oh, God.
Is there maybe something that he said today that maybe shifted your opinion of him even further?
Yeah,
I like the subtlety, Arslan. I like the subtlety.
Yeah, that was real. That was real smooth. I'm very impressed. He pulled some shit today, as he always does, and basically said on some like podcast or interview thing, radio show he was on, like, if you're having trouble deciding between voting for me and voting for Trump, you're not black. Or like talking to black listeners, which is nonsense.
It was just, yeah,
and problematic in so many ways.
It was so crazy, bro.
Yeah, it was just the latest. I forget the phrase. Oh my god! And it's like nail in the coffin of me not voting for this man.
It's so crazy because okay, so he said it on it's a radio show called The Breakfast Club, and it's primarily a hip hop black culture radio station or radio show hosted by all black influencers and things like that. So the fact that he said that on their show is the most wildest thing I could possibly think of. Like
Yeah,
how can you tell these people who are literally drenched in that culture if they're black or not? This is crazy to me.
I mean, it's absolutely, it's just bonkers. And it's also worth mentioning that this is his first appearance on the show. Like a lot of the Democrats who were running for president were on the show during the primaries, and obviously didn't say anything terrible because we didn't hear about it. But Biden is just now showing up on the show to, in theory, get voters, and completely failed at that mission.
This is a little bit of conspiracy theory, but like I think I remember the guy who was doing the interview. His name is Charlemagne the God. I remember a couple months ago he was saying that Joe Biden's team was basically telling Joe Biden not to go on the show because they were afraid that he was going to say something stupid. The amount of code talking this man went through, it was kind of crazy, like the code switching or whatever. Just
Yeah.
just the fact that he was just like, look at the facts, man. I'm just like, bro, why are you talking like this? You're trying too hard.
Yeah. He said, like, you ain't black, which is, I mean, that's code switching and like doesn't make any sense.
But do you think if he like stays true to his word and gets like a black female vice president, do you think people are gonna maybe just vote for that instead of him particularly, I guess?
Probably, yeah. I
And
mean, that's kind of the promise he made on the show.
I think it depends because there's a lot of negative sentiment against him. I don't really know what like the demographics of the Breakfast Club are, like in terms of like age range. Like I know a lot of like, I think in general like a lot of like elderly black voters like Biden, so he'll probably get a lot of that demographic. But like younger people, I don't know. Like it may, even if he does get like a black woman to be his vice president pick, like he still might not get like millennials. But at the same time, like there's all these rumors going around right now about how he's vetting Amy Klobuchar to be his vice president pick, which is not going to do anything to help him.
That would literally do nothing. That's like, it's not Hillary Clinton level, but it's close to Hillary Clinton level.
It's only a little better because like at least Klobuchar like was also running in the primary and like kind of had some support already. Like Tim Kaine was Tim Kaine existed to get Hillary Clinton to Virginia, and that was it.
Colleen, I completely forgot Tim Kaine's name until you just said it. I completely forgot that man existed.
Public policy major. I'm good at what I do, Arsalan.
Yeah, what would your thoughts be if he chose Kamala Harris?
Like Kamala Harris personally, I don't like her because of like her record as a prosecutor. But in terms of like, I think she's a smart VP pick for him because she's had a really strong, like really like passionate group of supporters during the primary, and she dropped out and immediately turned around and endorsed Biden. Like, and she's like younger, like black woman. Like, I think that she has a smart pick for him, but I don't know if he'll make a smart pick. He probably won't.
I don't know why I'm so deep into American politics, considering I can't vote. Omar, what are your thoughts? Like, I know this is like the first time you'll be doing anything with this. I don't know, Omar, did you vote in the primaries at all?
No, I did not vote in the primaries. I sadly missed it.
Dang, Colleen
I
roast
wasn't
this
keeping
man.
up with it enough, and I missed the opportunity to vote.
Who would you have voted for, like, if Bernie was still around? I think Bernie was still around during that time.
He was. I probably would have voted for Bernie. Who would you vote for, Aslan?
Oh, who would I vote for? Probably, but okay, so this is gonna sound kind of contradictory. Before he dropped out, I would have voted for Bernie, but after he dropped out, if he went back into the race, I would not vote for him.
Really? Is there a reason?
I just think it's really, I think it's really, I don't, cowardice is not the right word, but it's kind of describes my feeling. I don't like how he just dropped out so early. I know he was losing by like the super delegates and things like that, but I feel like if he was really focused on becoming president and not just being a distraction, he would have like stuck around a bit longer.
How do you feel about him endorsing Joe Biden? Do you think that means anything?
That's the issue.
Do
like,
you not care about that opinion?
I feel like the fact that he's endorsing Joe Biden now is just like Bernie was very much anti-establishment, and Joe is literally nothing but establishment. So that's what's confusing me. That's why I'm just like I don't know where he stands now. You know?
Did you like coalition of and like policy group that he was like forming with Joe Biden?
Was he?
Yeah, let me look up exactly so I know what I'm talking about. But basically, most like really recently it came out that like Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden were like teaming together on this like essentially policy task force on 6 different policy issues, and like each task force issue had like 5 members, 3 of whom were chosen by Biden and 2 of whom were chosen by Bernie. So, and this came out like a few weeks ago as this like push, and like what some of the thoughts I was hearing were was like the reason that Bernie endorsed Biden was because like they had this thing in the works, and that like Bernie wanted to be able to at least think that he was influencing Biden's policy, because like the areas of this are like climate change and criminal justice reform and like education and like these like big, and like healthcare is one of them, I think, and like immigration, these like big issues where like Bernie and Biden have very different views. So I think that's why he turned around and endorsed Biden. I was also like disappointed by it, and I think this task force is basically a PR stunt. But I mean, like I think that's why it happened. You know, like why he sort of, some people were saying like abandoned his progressive movement and turned around and endorsed this like other candidate.
Yeah, I think the fact that like at least from my perspective, again, like I can't do anything about it either way. Like at least from my perspective, what it looks like is he realized that he can't win the seat at the White House, so he just wants to like be around it, you know. Like he's settled for just being. I don't even know if he's gonna be in the cabinet, to be honest. Like I don't know if he'll even get a cabinet position, just because like if there's even a shroud of anti-establishment still in him, I don't know if the Democratic establishment would want that.
Yeah, I don't think he would have a cabinet position. But this like task force, like the purpose of it is basically just to give him like some semblance of a seat at the table, because like it's to like quote unquote shape the Democratic Party like values and party agenda like in 2020 in theory if Biden gets elected. But he just wants to stay relevant. He's not going to be like a cabinet position or anything. He'll probably, in reality, if Biden wins, just sort of slowly fade out of
the public consciousness. Yeah,
public consciousness. Yes, thank you.
You think there's a chance 96-year-old Bernie goes again at 2024?
I'm not gonna say I'm against it, but I think it's unlikely.
All right, so what else do you guys want to talk about? Like, what else has been going on in y'all's weeks?
I finished with finals. That's about it for me. I can't really say anything else.
That's fair. You were busy. What have I done the past week? I feel like I watched a bunch of TV and I don't even remember any of it.
Has anybody been watching the new Rick and Morty season or no?
I have.
No.
I have.
No, okay. You have?
Yeah, I have. I'm caught up.
Is it good so far? Can I be hyped about it?
Did we talk about this already? I feel like we already talked about this.
Did we? I thought we talked about Solar Opposites.
We talked about Solar Opposites, and we also okay. So my issue with the latest season of Rick and Morty is it feels like they've definitely dropped any semblance of a storyline. Like it feels like it's definitely just like episodes now. Like there's like no thread at all. Like it's just like a bunch of different small adventures now. Which I don't know how I feel. I feel like it's kind of stale now, you know.
How many seasons does it have now?
It's season 4. It's only 4 seasons.
This is the 4th one. I thought it was like 3.5.
No,
or was that something else?
It was 4.5 before. I mean, it was 3.5 before, but now it's the full 4.
Gotcha.
It's whatever. I mean, Rick and Morty. I feel like it's gonna keep going just because like it's the #1 show on Adult Swim. I don't know. I've kind of lost my excitement for it.
What do you think is better, Solar Opposites season 1 or Rick and Morty season 4?
Rick and Morty season 4, because only one episode,
really?
only 1.5 episodes of Solar Opposite was good.
Really?
At least Rick and Morty is enjoyable, you know. So me and Colleen watched a movie the other day. We watched.
Yeah, which movie?
We watched the movie with Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, I completely watched a movie, and then Extraction. It was a movie that we watched.
It was a movie. Okay, so Colleen probably could tell what my favorite part of the movie was. It was this really long action sequence where they just did not cut at all. And I don't know why I'm such a big sucker for movies that just don't cut. I just think it's so freaking cool.
No, I mean it is. That was a really good action scene. It was
Yeah.
the best part of the movie.
So
Wait, I haven't heard about this movie. What's this movie about?
so it's a Netflix film. It stars Chris Hemsworth and it's directed by one of the dudes who did Avengers Endgame. So like the directors of Avengers and the Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, they're like a brother duo, Joe and Anthony Russo, and this is just directed by Joe. So it's just one of them. So it's basically about Chris Hemsworth. He gets hired by like this military operation or something to rescue a kid who got kidnapped. The son of a drug lord got kidnapped by this gang or whatever, and they want a ransom, and the guy doesn't want to pay the ransom, so they hired Chris Hemsworth to get the kid back. And it's really
And
just
at the same time,
yeah, good.
like there's another guy that the drug lord also hired because the drug lord doesn't want to pay the Chris Hemsworth group to get his son back. So there's like this like other guy who's there to like get the kid after Chris Hemsworth gets the kid. It's I don't know. It's somewhat complicated, and it was a movie. It has a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I think is appropriate.
Yeah. I think the most interesting thing about this movie, Omer, and I think this might interest you. It's basically a Bollywood film, but it has no songs.
Like musicals and shit.
No. It's like Slumdog Millionaire. It takes place in India, and they all speak Hindi.
Okay.
Yeah. Chris
I think it
Hemsworth.
would be much better if they'd all broken out into song and dance at least once.
No, if they broke out in the song and dance, the movie would definitely be at least an 85%. No, my favorite part was when Chris Hemsworth tried to say some Hindi words, and it just sounded really weird to me, at least.
Really?
I bet to everyone else it sounded fine, but to me it was just really weird.
It was a little cringy.
His Australian accent was mixing with like the Hindi. It just sounded so weird to me. But yeah, that was it.
Yeah, I'm trying to imagine it. Ew, that just sounds gross.
It was just like one line though, so it's like whatever. It's a fun action film. I feel like, Omer, if you want to watch the movie, I don't know. It was #1 on Netflix for like a little bit. That's why we watched it, because like our friend was like he was really hyped about it for some reason because it was like on Netflix. But honestly, you could just boil it down to just watching the one scene that we're talking about on YouTube. Like I feel like if you just watch that one scene, you'll get like the gist of what the movie's about. You know?
What is this? The action scene you mentioned earlier?
Yeah. The thing about the action scene, the reason why it was so cool is because it starts with like a car chase, right? And it's all one take. The camera's right there. And like it's constantly going in between both cars, like the one that's chasing and the one that's like the one that Chris Hemsworth in, and it eventually leads to like this building, right? And Chris Hemsworth and them get out of the car, and the camera follows them into this building, and then it moves away to the enemies, and it basically just shows like this massive fight scene in the freaking apartment building. And then after the apartment building, it cuts back into another car chase, and it's all completely seamless. Like there's no cuts whatsoever, and it's just so freaking cool.
Sounds like a Fast and Furious movie.
It's better than a Fast and Furious movie because at least the stuff in this movie was realistic. You know, like it wasn't like there was no freaking like jumping from one building.
We should talking now about The Rock and fucking Vin Diesel.
Nah. No one can say I'm not a Fast and the Furious fan. I freaking bought my friend all 6 movies.
Really?
Yeah, just so we could watch them. Yeah.
My sister wanted a birthday present. It was all the movies up until 7. When 7 came out, it was like a little collection disc.
Your sister's into Fast and the Furious?
Yeah, but I don't know if she's still into it. She doesn't. It's in my room actually. I don't know why it's in my room, but I only liked Tokyo Drift and 7. That was the only 2 I liked.
You liked Tokyo Drift?
Yeah, it was fun and interesting to me.
That's so, okay. I know it's definitely interesting. That's so funny. Okay, cool. I respect that.
Why? Which one do you like?
My favorite is probably either 5 or 7. Yeah, 5 or 7.
5 or 7. You know, honestly, I think I like Baby Driver more than the Fast and Furious movies I saw. I'm going to be honest with you.
Baby Driver. That is a good movie.
That's a really weird comparison, Omer, but okay.
No, because I was just thinking about driving in general, like race cars. Not race cars, but just racing in general in movies.
No,
and honestly, that's like the best like racing movie I've seen.
Well,
I don't know if you would call it racing.
There's no racing in that movie. It's like just getaway driving. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, getaway driving. Getaway driving. Yeah, that's the word.
No, the director who makes Baby Driver, he's like an actual like legit director. He's like super freaking good. Omer, you ever watched that one movie Hot Fuzz with the police officer?
No, but I thought you were gonna say the director was like a convict, like an ex.
No. That'd be something though.
What movie did you mention?
Hot Fuzz. Oh, it's about this. It's very similar to Baby Driver. It's about this police officer who goes into a small town. It's just like it's super crazy and super fun, just like Baby Driver was. So if you like Baby Driver, I would definitely recommend that one.
I'll check out Hot Fuzz later. Is it on Netflix?
It used to be on Netflix. I don't know if it's still on there anymore. Colleen, is there any franchise that you obsess over? I feel like I know this answer, but like it's not Harry Potter. You're not like a Potterhead, right? Or are you?
Like, want to associate myself with J.K. Rowling and who she is now, but I have read those books many, 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 many times and seen the movies many, 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 many times. So like yes, but also no. Can I like say like yes, I really like the Harry Potter series, but like I hate J.K. Rowling and everything she's done with it since like the last book came out.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, if you
It's
can
like
like,
a valid take.
I guess yeah, I think like everything JK has done post Deathly Hollows is kind of just like. Do you think it's just like she ran out of ideas and she just needs to find a way to like bring more life into the series? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, she just wanted to like keep making money and beat a dead horse. So she like made Cursed Child the play, and made the new Fantastic Beasts movies, and like all of which are terrible. And she's also just like gone on this whole rampage of like redeeming Snape. And I could talk for like half an hour about how Snape is a terrible character and does not deserve to be redeemed, but I'm sure you guys don't want that in your podcast. But Snape's a terrible character and does not deserve to be redeemed. And J.K. Rowling is evil for doing that.
Wait,
so I love Harry Potter like as a series, like as a book series, and it was very important to me as a kid. But J.K. Rowling doesn't deserve anything.
I was gonna ask, what's your favorite movie, Colleen, or book?
Like in general, or out of the Harry Potter?
Out of the Harry Potter series.
Oh, I think Prisoner of Azkaban is my favorite book.
Yeah, man, you know it.
Or maybe Order of the Phoenix is like my favorite book and also movie, because I really like Sirius Black as a character. Yeah. And also Lupin as a character.
That's good. I agree. Like I think Order of the Phoenix is like when shit finally got serious. You know, like it was like the most. It was like when Harry Potter got like really dark and like the whole mission was laid out. But then you could argue that Prisoner of Azkaban was also the starting point when it got more serious. Because like if you compare like Chamber of Secrets and Sorcerer's Stone to the tone of Prisoner of Azkaban, it's like radically different, you know? Like with the Dementors and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, for the first four, Harry is still sort of just like going on adventures and like, you know, encountering danger, but also like not the same way that like once Voldemort's back, you know, like the fifth book. Yeah, you're right. Like shit, it's real really fast. And it's also like really an interesting. I don't know. I'm a public policy major, so it's like an interesting kind of take on like government propaganda and the fact that the Ministry of Magic is covering up Voldemort being back, and the Minister of Magic doesn't want to like admit that he is back, when in reality, like if they had acted faster, like I don't know, maybe shit would have been different for Harry. But that's also just, I'm a government major, so this is what I think about.
No, you're definitely right. J.K. Rowling definitely meant to do that with the whole Ministry of Magic thing. So I've actually I bought the whole Blu-ray collection on eBay like a month ago, and I've been showing my sisters the films. Currently, we watched up to Prisoner of Azkaban. I don't know how to feel. I'm kind of sensing my sisters aren't that into the world, so maybe it was just kind of like a us thing, you know, like maybe like I don't know. I don't know if like kids nowadays are really into the wizarding world like we were, you know.
I think it's more your sisters, because the way you describe their taste, it seems like they just don't like fantasy stuff in general.
Yeah, I think I have cousins who are like, I don't know, how old are your sisters?
11 and 13.
Yeah, I have cousins that are like that age, and they love Harry Potter. So I think it's more just the difference in kids.
Okay.
I mean, there were kids like when we were in like middle school, and a bunch of people were obsessed with Harry Potter. At the same time, a bunch of people were obsessed with like Twilight, and a bunch of people were obsessed with like One Direction. So.
Oh yeah. I don't know why. I feel like as a kid, everyone was obsessed with Harry Potter, but I guess that was just my bubble or whatever.
That was totally your bubble, because I don't know. I remember there being a huge like. There was always like the Harry Potter kids and the Twilight kids, and like you were one or the other, but you were never both.
Yeah, I think that was just you two or something. I remember everybody in like middle school and high school, they just called it like gay. Like doesn't matter what. If you mention Harry Potter, just gay right after it.
Really? That's crazy to me. I remember, did you guys go see the last movie in theaters?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. But the funny thing is, I did not watch Deathly Hallows Part 1 like ever. I still haven't watched it.
Really?
Really?
That's
Yeah,
wild to
so
me, dude.
somebody just gave me like a quick synopsis of the whole movie, and then I just watched part 2.
Well,
Oh my
I have the DVD now, bro. You can come over and watch it. That's
I
wild.
think
Okay.
that's the one where the goblin dies, right? That's why everybody was upset about that one.
Well, the Dobby dies, not the goblin.
Dobby, yes, he's a goblin, right? Or is he an elf?
No, Dobby is a free elf.
He's a free elf.
Master has given Dobby a sock.
Sorry.
Dobby is free.
No, like it's yeah, no, like I'm excited to continue the marathon. We're a Goblet of Fire now, and that's kind of one of my favorites as well.
Nice.
We got 10 more minutes to fill, guys.
You know, speaking of marathons, another YouTube trend is people are starting to watch One Piece, the entirety of it, during quarantine.
Yeah, Colleen, One Piece is the show that Soji and Olade won't shut up about.
Yeah, I know that they're watching it.
Yeah.
Colleen, are you watching it too? Please say yes.
No, I'm not.
I'm very, very sad. Arsan, are you watching it?
There's like 1,000 episodes.
Yeah, I
It's
was gonna say.
933. All right, that's a big difference from 1,000. Okay.
You know what's crazy,
It's like
Colleen?
a 70 episode difference. Yeah.
There's
but-
973 episodes, like Omer said, but only
No,
500 of them are important.
No, what are you talking
And you
about?
don't know which ones are important and which ones are not. So you just have to watch all of them.
Oh my god.
Well, they're all
I think
part of the
it's
story.
crazy.
But no. So apparently, about 100 episodes out of 933 are filler.
Oh my god.
So you just have to skip 100. So in reality, it's just 833.
Yeah.
Just
833.
833.
So many episodes. I have
Okay,
issues
so what are
like-
your friends saying about it? Do they like it or what?
Oh, yeah. They like it. But the issue with them, Omer, you have to remember, they have Stockholm Syndrome now. Like, they're so far in that if they give up, they're just weak, you know? Like, they can't just quit now, you know? That's the thing.
one of them was saying earlier today that he was on episode, like he was in like the 700s or something, or like maybe the low 800s, and it was like he was saying like I can't quit now, like I've made it too far, I have to finish.
It's a commitment, yeah.
And
It's like marriage almost. You can't just quit within like the first 4 years.
tell that to Kim Kardashian. Hold up.
Kim Kardashian, please don't take away our sponsor. Please.
Honestly, the thing with the show is it's still ongoing too, Colleen. So there's going to be more episodes.
Oh
So
my god.
you can
Yeah,
never.
So the guy who made it, Oda, right? Oda said that it would finish within the next 5 years. So around 2025, the show will end.
The show been going that they're on episode 900 something.
Yeah, so it's been going on from 1999 all the way, to probably 2025.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Simpsons eat your heart out. Actually, does Simpsons have more episodes, or does One Piece have more episodes?
Simpsons, for sure.
Yeah, you're right. Because Simpsons has been going on since the 1980s or late 80s.
Yeah, 1980s. Yeah, early 90s, late 80s. But One Piece is the longest anime.
That's
And
crazy.
it's probably
man.
It's the most popular one too in Japan, in terms of like shonen. There's so much merchandise in stores in Japan for this one anime.
But do you think it's just because it's the longest running one?
I think so, yeah.
All right, that's fine.
Well, I mean, there's a reason why it's the longest running one, right? Like people aren't just gonna watch it because it's bad or they're just over committed to it. They actually enjoy it.
That's fair. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Like I said, like if I probably just sat down and basically gave up on all my other responsibilities, I could probably watch the show and like it. But at the same time, I have a lot of other things to do.
True.
I mean, to be fair, you don't have to watch it within a month or two. You can spread it out to like I don't know, a year, 8 months.
Yeah, it's definitely a year commitment.
I mean, hey man, we're in quarantine. I don't know what else you got going on.
This podcast.
So you
Omar.
should have started it. You should have started it 2 months ago. You would have had it
Exactly,
practically
Arthur.
done by now.
Like,
Yeah.
first of all, you were already at 100, like the 100th episode, 80th episode, and you didn't realize it. See how fast it goes by?
Sure. I was
Sure.
definitely not skipping around. No, I'm kidding. I wasn't. But yeah, I'll look into that maybe eventually.
Yeah, you too, Colleen.
Okay. Yeah, I'll work on that. I just watched Full Metal Alchemist for the first time a few
Really?
weeks
How's
ago.
that? I've been meaning to watch that too. Which one was it? The Brotherhood?
Brotherhood, yeah. It was. I really liked it. I thought it was really, really, really good. I've been told to watch My Hero Academia
My Hero Academia.
next on my list.
My Hero Academia nuts.
I don't know anything. I don't know what it's about, but
I don't know how to feel about what you just said, our song.
You never thought about that? Macadamia nuts.
I know. I heard it before, but I just read it. Like I completely forgot about it until you just like randomly said it.
Oh my god. Yeah, there's lots of good animes out there. Colleen, it's so sad. I like literally right before you met me, I was probably like a really big weeb, but as soon after you met me, my weebiness just kind of died out. I don't know what happened.
You're still a weeb.
I
Still a weeb.
am I though? I don't.
You've watched 100 episodes of One Piece. You're definitely still a weeb.
No. It's
You went
like
to Katsucon. You're definitely a weeb.
that wasn't a weeb thing. That was a. I went for the girls. Shut up, Omer.
Okay.
You went for the anime girls. That's.
I went for the body pillows. Come on, Omer. You know this.
Ew.
What do you mean, ew, Colleen? You don't use the pillow as a hugging tool?
Jeez, man. Okay.
The only difference is just the face on it.
Don't really want to go down this path.
Alright, we don't have to go down that rabbit hole.
If you get an Appa body pillow, is that problematic? Maybe. Maybe not. Anyway.
I think getting a body for any character from that show is problematic because they're children.
You're right.
So don't go thinking about getting a Momo body pillow. Right?
You're right, Colleen, but tell that to Tumblr.
Ugh, Tumblr's a bad place.
Is Tumblr still a thing? Like, who goes on
I mean, I think it exists still. It's probably still a bad place.
Like, I know girls like use it to quote their Instagram posts, but other than that, like, I don't see people using it.
I know somebody who has like who presents themselves as though they have a very professional political website, but in reality, it's a Tumblr.
Oh my god, that's so sad. That's so funny. That's
Like,
so crazy.
I feel like they actually believe it's like a professional thing too, which is the funny part.
I get 17 hits every single day and 15 repubs. Yeah, I'm making it big time.
So yeah, that's how you make it big in the world of politics. Make a Tumblr.
All right, well, I think this has been a really good episode. I actually really enjoyed our discussion today. Omer,
enjoyed it too.
Would you not agree that this is probably one of the most intellectual episodes we've ever had? Like, we actually talked about like real things for once.
We were actually sticking to our topics that we discussed prior to the podcast. So yeah, we didn't wing it as much as we used to.
That's good, and I think Colleen actually knowing what she was talking about really helped with that. So thanks so much, Colleen. Wow. You're honestly a lightsaber, bro. Like,
thanks, Colleen, for coming in short notice.
This is like
thanks for asking me. I had a great time.
Now, Omer, what is the question we always ask people before like we have a guest? We always ask them like a specific question.
Have you watched our podcast?
Oh, not that. No. Okay.
That specific question?
No. I remember it now. So, Colleen, this is gonna sound like a trick question, but just answer it straight up, okay? If you have a political group that is 51% and the other side is 49%, if 51% is the majority, what does that make the 49%?
Not the majority?
Yeah, but like, again, this is not a trick question. Just answer straight up. Like, what is it?
What would the term you use be?
The minority?
Yes, thank you. Okay, that's good. That's episode 6 of the What the Deuce podcast. Thanks you guys so much for listening. Colleen, you were an amazing guest. Thank you so much. And we hope to have you on here again, man. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that. And don't forget to write a review and things like that. It really does help. Now that we are getting close to that 10 episode milestone, we definitely want to get more out there, you know? So any type of review that you guys could put out there would really help. Omer, you want to say anything before we sign off?
Thank you, and namaste.
Colleen, do you want to plug anything before we end it off?
Build-A-Bear, if you're listening, please make an Appa stuffed animal. I will buy it. I will buy many of them.
And I will buy it as well. Yeah, I will buy 5. That is episode 6. Thank you guys so much.